and welcome to CX Today. I'm Susie Harrison, Senior Content Editor, and today I'm delighted to be joined by John Berg, who is VP Strategy at Texi. And thank you for joining me, John.
Pleasure to be here.
And today we're going to be discussing Agentic AI, and I'm really looking forward to your insights on this. And I think it's worth starting at the very beginning. If you can tell us a little bit about what Agentic AI is and how you would differentiate it from other forms of AI.
Sure. So Agentic AI is, I would say, the movement from AI that can help you create or AI that can help you surface information to AI that can help you take action. So in the realm of CX and service, this is really the difference between working with a traditional chatbot, right? If you think about that evolution, a chatbot was very much, based on this menu, choose the next interaction. It was a fixed flow. And then we brought LLMs into that dynamic, large language models and generative AI that generally improved the quality of the chatbot from 20 to 40%, right? Because it was better at intuiting what does the user want and then interpreting that information to provide an answer. And if we think about that continuum, the next step is agentic AI, meaning the AI can take action. The AI can do things just as a human agent would or as a human being would on behalf of that user. Now, that could be an end user. This could be a contact center representative. This could be a field service technician or engineer. There's really a very wide realm. It could even be, if we're really talking about true agentic AI, it could be back office automation as well. But the idea is that the usually generative AI will be able to take a meaningful action rather than needing a human being to be there to take that action.
And how does the agentic AI make those decisions? Can you speak a little bit about the technology behind that?
Sure. So realistically, agentic AI is rarely making decisions as a dedicated framework that's specifically agentic. Usually what's happening is there's some kind of logic or business logic, process logic behind the scenes. And the AI hub, what we call the cognition, or the cognitive layer within an AI solution, will be working with an LLM to input text or voice data. It may be looking at different data sources like a CRM to pull in customer data, product uptime, etc., warranty information. It may be looking at visual data, which is our legacy offering here, where it can interpret the image and then it's deciding what is the next best action. So that doesn't necessarily happen within a dedicated new framework built for agentic AI. But that decision rather sits within that logic function, that logic engine. And what agentic AI brings to the table is the ability to not only make a decision such as this person needs to be escalated to a human agent, or we need to order a replacement part, or we're going to give that customer a refund, or we're going to dispatch a field service technician. Whatever that next step is being made within that logic tree, that logic cognitive layer. What's unique in agentic AI is that they can actually dispatch the technician. They can actually take action on behalf of the user. Now, that's in a strictly, scientific, more explanation of what agentic AI is. However, if we look at the way that people are using this in terms of the market, agentic AI is often being used as a catch-all term for a more capable AI agent, right? And what that means is not just that the agent can take action, but that it has a more advanced cognitive capability, it has smarter logic, right? If you think about it, it's the difference between having a new employee where they're going to be shadowed and monitored and an employee that has 20 years experience where you trust them to go do the job and you don't double check their work. Agentic AI is that leap forward where you have an employee that really knows what they're doing and they're expert, and now you're trusting them to take action.
And obviously one of the main issues or sort of challenges with AI is the safety, the robustness and unintended consequences. Do those still exist with agentic AI? Just because obviously, if it's making decisions as well, then those unintended consequences could be however much, more challenging to deal with afterwards.
Exactly. So I think one great example of an early agentic AI failure was in the airline space, where there was an airline that was using basically a chatbot upgraded with an LLM. So they were using that intermediary step towards agentic AI, but they were trusting the AI before it had proven its efficacy. And in this case, it didn't just send wrong advice and frustrate a customer, but it was actually offering highly discounted fares or free flights to users or to customers, and they had to honor what their AI chatbot was offering. In that case, they were giving the AI agentic permission before it was mature enough, right? Similar to that analogy which just used, it shouldn't have been trusted with that level of automation. So as you said, we're really taking the risk that AI will make an error. And when you give it agentic responsibilities, we're magnifying the impact. If you're going to dispatch a truck roll, replace a product, or issue a refund, you're now talking about potentially interactions that are worth hundreds or thousands of dollars or more, not individual interactions that may frustrate the customer for a minute or two, and in terms of LTV may cost you a few dollars. So this could have tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars higher cost per interaction in terms of the risk. This can be negated, or this can be addressed very effectively if, again, you've defined the right, what we call internally, it's a more geeky term, but cognition. So if your logic has been proven and has been tested in safer environments, such as an AI co-pilot for a human being that's helping them, and it's been validated, and you know that it's taking the right action, if you've been able to simulate what your AI would do next and compare it, which is another thing we're doing, so that before the agentic AI is deployed, you're running it alongside human agents, so it can simulate, is it as effective or more effective than your human agents? That means that it's been trained, it knows, it's learned, and it's proven itself. You know exactly where it is more effective, where it's less effective, and you can gauge that risk tolerance and decide where you want to give it agentic abilities and where you want it to still continue to learn. You can really negate that risk very, very substantially. So to sum that up, okay, agentic AI doesn't carry new risks, but it magnifies the risks that have always existed when we speak about generative AI for service and CX. If you have a solution that's proven itself, that's truly enterprise grade and is reliable in a non-agentic environment, then the next test is to give it agentic abilities in the lab, to see how it performs, and to continue to refine and improve your cognitive capabilities, your logic, and your accuracy to the point that it becomes a tolerable risk. There's no such thing as a business operation that is without risk. However, we accept risk every day. When we have a tier 1 person with, maximum a month or two of training, often far less, that's going to be answering the phone. Or you have a new employee that's going to be in a retail environment that's helping a customer, or a technician you're trusting to fix something. And we manage that risk through training, through compliance, through supervision or babysitting, right? And the same steps should be taken with AI, just like with any new employee. So we can mitigate the risk of AI and agentic AI if it follows the right process, if it has the right technology safeguards. And that's where a lot of our investment has been over the last 2 years. I'll add to that one of the most important signals that you can bring in to improve the accuracy of your AI is move beyond text, move beyond voice. So your AI is making decisions based on what it can collect, based on the information that it has. And if you only give it a partial picture, if it only has 30 or 40% of the information, the answer will only be 30 or 40, or the guidance or the actions that it takes will only be 30 to 40% accurate. However, when you can pull in data from a CRM or an ERP, you can begin to round out a bit more of that information. And the ultimate next step is when you can pull in visual information. So when your AI can remove the language barrier with many of your agents and customers and technicians, and it can see what actually is their hardware, what model is it, what lights are on or off. We can not only remove customer effort in trying to verbally express product components or parts or statuses and make the call easier for the customer, but we can also give the AI all of the information that it needs, right, and it can process that information within the cognitive layer, within the brain, and then provide more accurate guidance, information, and actions. And this is really the next step of agentic AI. If you want to research it, it's called multimodality. But if we think about it at its most basic, there's that analogy of three people standing around an elephant, and one feels the leg and says it's a tree, and none of them can see, and one feels the tail and says it's a rope, and one feels the trunk and says it's a hose. None of them were entirely wrong, and none of them were entirely right either. But if they could all open their eyes, they would see that they're all looking at different components of the same animal, of the same product. And when we give the AI the ability to open its eyes and to take in the full picture and then to process that properly, the AI becomes incredibly accurate. We're seeing AI solutions, when you add visuals to them, operating well above 99% accuracy in the real world. And this is based on simple images or videos collected over smartphones. So this doesn't mean a tremendous amount of work in terms of setup, but it means we have to be thinking about how humans process information. We're visual thinkers, we're visual learners, and we need to give AI, and especially agentic AI, those same capabilities.
So we're essentially teaching AI to think like humans, to replicate human cognition. But do you think society is ready for AI to make decisions on our behalf, or do you think that's a work in progress societally?
So it really depends on the age of the person that you're speaking to and their outlook on technology. In general, people that are more educated, people that tend to be in their 20s and 30s, from our studies, and we just put out a new study on this, asking the general public, are you ready for AI? The younger and more educated and more affluent people tend to prefer AI.
It's jumping off that hype cycle of the sort of train of excitement, isn't it, at some point, and seeing really where it's going to take you. Well, it's so interesting, and I'm sure this, the space is going to evolve so quickly that I'm sure we could have a different conversation in a month, a year, 5 years. So really appreciate your time today, John from Texi, and thank you to our viewers for watching. If you liked this video, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and of course keep an eye on cxtoday.com for more updates on stories like these. So thanks, John, and thank you to everyone for watching.
Thank you for having me.